Good evening, friends. Welcome to India Power Talk. We just completed 1 year of India Power Talk, and I'm glad to commence the second season. A warm welcome to all my dear audience. India Power Talk, as you know, is a knowledge sharing initiative, and we invite international thought leaders and domain experts to share their insights, experiences, and strategies related to business and economy. Today, we will be discussing high tech landscape changes and impact on talent gap. It is singular honor and a pleasure to welcome a guest who has accomplished truly remarkable results in this challenging field, Neelima Paraskar, who is the founder, president, and CEO of SnapIT Solutions, a company that provides top quality IT and software development services to companies on one hand and fast track on the job training to professionals on the other. Neelima, it's a pleasure to have you on India Power Talk. Could you please begin by telling us how you got the idea of Snap IT Solutions in the first place, and what's the core of Snap IT?
I started my technology IT career back in 2000. And I've been in major corporations, bigger companies, Fortune 500 companies like IBM, and enjoyed quite a bit of what work I've done. But over the past almost 2 decades that I've observed the technology industry, there have been many waves back and forth in especially the talent that we have received. And at the point of leaving IBM, I had about 200 and or maybe 225 resources. IBM was reporting to me globally and also on United States. The biggest issue we faced always was talent. There was a lot of money left on the table because resources were not able to get, projects were not getting on time. And if we do find resources, there's always, risk of losing them to another competitor. To overlay this in a high 50,000 square foot kind of look, SnapIT is broadly divided into three main divisions. The first division of the company is we have developed our own custom trainings
Mhm.
for young adults and adults who are getting into who are wanting to get into high tech industry. And these courses are in demand, in demand and high paying jobs skills. Once the students go through the training, it's short period of time, about 3, maybe 5 months, not more than that, not less than that. After the students go through these training programs, they get receive training certificate from SnapIT. We
Mhm.
are, by the way, certified by state of Kansas,
Mhm.
state of Missouri, and 5 other states in the United States. And we are expanding our state level certifications. What that means is workforce agencies can support and partner with us. So after the training is done, we are actually watching on the other side of the company, there's tech work, products and solutions and services. This segment of the company is watching for students coming through the training program. And
Mhm.
we are, when we see a student who is ripe for us to build more, we offer a
And,
job to the students.
and so, does it really mean that the traditional universities are now obsolete?
Like I said, even with universities going full swing, they're only able to satisfy 25% of the demand. Another point, I'm not sure if you are aware in India, but Kaufman Foundation is one of the bigger foundations here, actually not only in United States, but in the world. According to their research, 7 out of 10 kids here in the United States are not going to university. And
Oh,
I know that a lot more students are not having access to education, like countries like India, Africa. There are students who are not able to go to universities. But I refuse to believe that these students are not smart enough. It's either augmenting university education or almost replacing in certain way
sure.
for students who are not able to go. I would prefer kids to have their childhood and enjoy that time and learn not just about education or a particular skill, but have an overall holistic approach.
Does it really mean that, or are you suggesting that the graduation is not the engineering graduation is not required, but surely there is some basic education required but to get the understanding or hands-on experience
Yeah.
on these technologies?
Sure, absolutely. We don't train any student who doesn't have at least, in India, I believe it's intermediate. That's
Okay.
what they say. Here it is high school, but it's, 11th and 12th as well. But they have to be GED,
Okay.
graduated. Without that, we can't.
Is this the right way of connecting the industry and academia?
I don't know. Whether it is the right way or not, but I have to tell you, the biggest drawback in my model is a lot of investment going into the student once we hire them,
I
right? About more 6 to 9 months, I am investing out of my profits from the company into the students. At one point, it was my personal money, my savings going in. So there is no obligation for them to stay. And there is no guarantee that they would, get through and get to that level of a 4 year bachelor's degree kind of a student. But the ratio has proved that close to 90% of the people that I have invested in have come through.
Is it necessary that between the university and the industry we need to have companies like SnapIT Solutions? Is it really required?
So, coming through, remember one thing, the training segment of the entire, I'll call it as an apprenticeship, right? This is training is almost a phase that is needed to start the apprenticeship, right?
Okay.
So, the entire process together on an average takes about a year for
Right.
somebody to come up to speed. And if somebody is already spending 4 years of bachelor's and 2 years of master's, they probably do not, their curve to get to industry is probably around 3 to 6 months based on how quickly they catch up with the industry. But somebody who's not gone through the 6 years, we are trying to push them into one segment, right? Bachelor's and master's as a very broad education. They learn everything about something about everything,
Okay.
obviously, because of what classes they're taking. But then the work demand starts with a one, two, or couple different skill sets. So again, only because education is done, I can challenge anybody in the technology field that says that I'm done with training, I'm done with educating myself. That's not going to happen. This is an endless bottom. Technology is right. There is no period at which you are done with your education. You're constantly learning. You're constantly getting micro credentials, certifications, right? That's what you need to do to keep up in this industry. So anything and everything the universities or apprenticeship programs and training programs like SnapIT, all they're doing is cranking up that heat and starting the fire, right? After that, it depends on the student to take it and keep growing.
Nilima, these are really very challenging times for workers all over the world, including the US, I guess,
And employers.
and employers. So, could you please talk about Snap IT Solutions? How have you responded to the pandemic, and how your organization is benefiting local communities?
We have been 100% work from home ever since COVID hit. And definitely, even people like, I did not come to office during lockdown, obviously, for 3 to 4 months. And it was tough. It was tough as a business owner to invest so much and, really, and we are a small business. We are not big corporations to start with. Again, employees' health was highest priority, right? The second priority was clients, making sure clients work. Actually, it is about the same. Obviously, clients can never be ignored. There's always, the relevance of clients. And here's the thing, Nitin, the way I think as a business owner for SnapIT, if I take care of my employees, each and every employee of SnapIT will take care of the client.
Absolutely.
We've worked from home. We had definitely a lot of turbulence last year for about 3 months. And then we started kicking back again, kicking out of that situation. Quarter four of 2020, we
Yes.
made as much of almost all of 2019.
Wow. Wow. That's great. There has been a much talk, as I said, about the new normal and how the pandemic will permanently change the way we live and work. I have my doubts. I don't believe that we will be permanent. There will be a permanent change. It's a temporary phase. But what's lasting effect do you anticipate? How much will this really change?
So it's been a good stop and reflect moment for people who want to reflect on certain things. And of course, I cannot tell you the emphasis on younger adults, people in their 20s who are used to going out, meeting people. It's hard on them. It's
Start on
difficult.
that. Yes.
It's not an easy phase. So what I want, I think the new norm could be is where we are reevaluating what is absolute necessary things to work with, right?
What, Nilima, really motivated you to take this bold approach?
So, like I said, I've looked at work offshore model through bigger corporations. There is good and bad and ugly in that, right? What I also saw is, or I'm also aware is, um, not every time a resource, like there is so much of wrongdoing in interviews for technology here in United States.
Okay.
People are using augmented reality to do interviews.
Oh.
There is,
Hmm.
yeah, so there is bad ways. We don't know who is real candidate and who's not.
Oh.
Only till you hire them for 3 to 4 months, then you know, okay, this
Absolutely.
person doesn't know anything. They're showing fake resumes, they're producing, so going off and starting my company, I said, you know what, I would rather know the people who have no knowledge and grow them,
Hmm.
and have an idea as to what talent they have, than go after the same pool of good resources that everybody wants to fight. Think about this. There is a pond that all animals are coming and drinking, or there is a total barren land. There is a possibility of a spring there. And I took the barrel land route, and I said, I'll clean it up. It'll be probably cheap,
Correct.
you're right. And I'll take my chances. Maybe I'll hit a spring. And I did hit that spring. So but it's a long process in that sense, right? It's a choice. The only thing I knew is I'm not going to fight for the same water that's going to be exhausted in a couple years. I'm going to take my long route and go after something that I can actually have a good idea to produce more of, and maybe even own that kind of a process.
No, but I'll tell you what I really liked about your approach and and the whole business model of Snap IT is that there are multiple and many firms who are doing training programs, but the kind of program that you have chosen, the high tech technologies to the professionals, and whether they are really graduates or not non-graduates. Now,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Now, the advantage of this really is that, and I can imagine that, I see there's a huge gap between the technologies, the advancement of technologies, and the companies who are wanting to have those technologies. But at the same time, there are just no people available to work on those technologies. So I think, and the universities on the other hand, going to take their own time to evolve, design the courses, and then implement it. So there's always going to be a complete gap between the education, between companies' demands, between advancement of technologies. So companies like you really fit in perfectly, to my mind, into building the ecosystem. And I guess you are really doing a greater service to the HR function. I would think, across the board, if I may, if I have summed up your services correctly. uh, Now my question to you is, how can a business model like yours be replicated in India? And what advice could you offer, really? Because in India we have a lot of companies wanting advanced technologies. We have universities wanting to develop courses, but the gap is just not getting filled.
Right. I mean, countries like India produces a lot more engineers that not only gives engineers to India, but also to the world. I think for countries like India, they need to develop more professional approaches. Once we only stick with one segment of people, but they're producing products for the entire world to use,
Yes.
imagine what we are trying to do, right? We are
Yes.
not capturing the actual essence of the user. The, the products are not created by the segments of users. So those are the things. So I think our the SnapIT model also attacks that aspect. That if I want to say, give a message to anybody in India, either it is employers or employees, look for diversity for employers,
Mhm.
and for employees, look for ways that you can get in. It's not only the set form. This is a road, and that's the only road that will take you to destination. um, you know, then that maybe that road is not built for you.
What would be your message to women, the girls in India? They have two choice in front of them. One is either to take a traditional engineering degree or master's degree or MS degree, or just pursue the academics and then try their hands in companies. Or should they be bold enough? Should they just chase their mind and heart, and try to get this kind of trainings on advanced technologies and pursue their career? What would be your advice to them?
So never tell yourself, maybe I can't do it. Never tell yourself that if you feel like you can do it, go for it. Because you know what? The support system will break on you. I am almost guaranteeing you this. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how good that support system is, no matter how much they support you, in future, that support system will break. But
Mm-hmm.
that's when your legs need to support you. Your intention, your perspective that this is what I want, I'm not giving up. Once you head, even without their support, they'll come around. And that is where you need to find out. So it doesn't matter if you want to do education and go that route, that's also fine. But
Right.
don't tell yourself that there is an employer out there, if I get engineering, I'll get employed. I don't think so. It's going to change pretty soon.
Great. Thanks, Neelima. So thanks for your valuable time and insight. It has been really a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Nitin. I appreciate it.